Hi, I'm Kai Cheng Thom, and you're watching Ask Kai, Quick Tips for the Apocalypse, a series of short videos in which I used to answer like a really big range of questions, but now seem to mostly be answering a lot of really very specific questions about sex, and that's great. So, today's question is, does being curious about butt stuff make me gay? So this question really is, to me, like near and dear and classic. Not because I've ever wondered if butt stuff made me gay, because I knew I was gay, like butt stuff or not. So, butt stuff, does it make us gay? I want to go a little bit into the connotations and history of this question. I think it's really interesting. So I think that there is maybe like a general wondering what butt stuff means, like being interested particularly in sexual or erotic play around the area of the butt, maybe particularly around the anus, anal cavity, what that means for our sexuality and our sexual orientation. And I think that's true for people of potentially all gender identities, expressions, and sexual orientations. But I think there is particular pressure and emphasis around people assigned male at birth, cisgender men, trans women, trans feminine people, maybe some other folks as well, about being interested in anal pleasure or butt related pleasure, and if that means that they are gay. This has to do, I think, with actually like a very old historical idea that gay sex is defined between men as penetration of the anal cavity with a penis. And of course, this is very centered around, what we would describe as cisgender men or people assigned male at birth, as opposed to maybe other people, other bodies, other gender expressions or genital configurations. And in the dominant culture of the global north or the Western world or whatever you want to call it, being into anal play or anal penetration as someone assigned male at birth was heavily stigmatized and associated with all kinds of homophobic and also misogynistic ideas, like being the receptive partner, for example. So having something inserted into one's anal cavity, or even just having one's butt played with by another, made one feminine and therefore bad. So, that's insulting to people who enjoy butt play and also people who are feminine, right? That it made you queer and somehow lesser than or weaker than. And particularly in the wake of the AIDS crisis, anal play has also been heavily associated with stigmatized forms of disease, STIs, HIV, AIDS, all of that sort of thing, which is really seronegative. And of course, that's not something we stand for here at Xtra. So just to say all of that, that anal play has a really deep and in some ways treacherous history, and where I'm coming from today is wanting to be positive toward people of all gender expressions and identities, and also particularly toward anal play, and not shaming or stigmatizing of sex or any particular kind of STIs, because STIs can be transmitted really between any kind of person doing many different kinds of sexual activities. Let's just get that out there and put it on the table. So people are often not neutral about this question, does butt stuff make me gay? It's not like, I'm into butt stuff. Am I gay? Like it might be for some, but for a lot of people, it's like, I'm into butt stuff. Does that make me gay? Is that bad, right? This is a kind of an old form of homophobia. And we hear this a lot from people who are interested in butt play, particularly those who are maybe men having sex with men having sex with trans women or trans feminine people. There is like a heavy cultural stigma associated with that. And I think also a fear of a loss of cultural capital or cultural privilege. Like, what will it mean for my life if I am known as a person who is into butt stuff and also into, people of non-normative or marginalized gender identities and expressions. And because of all of this, I think that butt play in general has become sort of regarded as deviant and weird and wrong. And because queer people are associated with sexual liberation and also that which is deviant and sometimes wrong and weird, we get all kind of wrapped up together. So it's like butt stuff and gay, it's a fraught relationship, and that's just how it is. Now, if we come from a sex positive perspective and we want to celebrate all forms of consensual sexual pleasure, then I would say butt stuff can be amazing. It can be great. It can be fun. People of all different body types, gender expressions and identities can enjoy butt and anal play. Why? Because for some, the butt is just like a fun, good-looking, sexy area. And also, for most people, the butt is full of rich nerve endings, sensations, erogenous zones, multiple ones, internal, external. And then, of course, there's taboo around the butt, which for some people also feels sexy because humans generally find sexy that which is forbidden. I don't know why, it's just the way we are. So it can feel great and sexy for everyone. And that doesn't necessarily mean that one is gay. No. I think that like a good, solid, mainstream sex educator answer is like anyone can be into butt play, heterosexual, queer, gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever. And, you just are who you are and you like what you like. However, I am not just a mainstream sex educator. I am also a queer, trans, hopefully radical sex educator. And so I want to add a couple pieces in there just to kind of complicate it. Because why not complicate it? I'm complicated. So are you. No, being into butt stuff doesn't make you anything in particular. It can just be what it is. But I will say that if we take a broad scope of definitions of what is queer and we don't think that it's bad or wrong to be queer, then I would just question, why is butt stuff making us gay a concern necessarily? Could being interested in butt stuff be a portal, actually, to new kinds of sexual experiences or even new kinds of sexual identifications that might be really awesome and interesting and fulfilling for you? So that is to say, maybe you're not gay right now, but if you explore butt sex in a fun, cool, consensual way, you might discover that you're attracted to a bigger range of people than you had initially expected. And if that were the case, I think that would be okay, and maybe even also good, because we want you, dear watcher, a question asker out there, to have a wide range, as wide as you want, of sexual pleasure and experiences. And also, I want the wide world out there to be good with queerness, to be happy about queerness, to celebrate queerness. And celebrating queerness to me is also about celebrating queer sex. And queer sex doesn't always include butt play, but it certainly can, could, and there is that sort of deeply woven history that we spoke about as well. So I will say, to those out there who are wondering if butt sex makes you gay, first of all, no, not necessarily, but also maybe it does. And maybe it's okay to be gay or queer and to celebrate the other people that you are having this anal play with who might be gay or queer. And all of that is good, could be fun, sexy, sizzling hot. So I would say, as long as it's fun and consensual, give it a try and see where it goes. That's it for today. I'm Kai Cheng Thom. You've been watching Ask Kai, quick tips for the apocalypse. Stay safe. Wash your hands, wear a mask. These COVID-related endings are getting weirdly less, yet weirdly more relevant every time I do them. I don't know. Be safe. I love you.